Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the 20s Detox. I'm Bianca, your host, where we dive into all the things that I'm learning and unlearning in my 20s to elevate this decade. There are some people you come across online who just feel like medicine, calm, grounded, and deeply connected to something bigger. That's how I felt when I first found Emma Marschall. Her energy is this beautiful blend of wisdom and softness, and the way she speaks about natural healing and sisterhood reminds you that returning to yourself can be the most powerful form of healing there is. Emma creates a space rooted in radical self-love, human connection, and holistic living, reminding us to slow down, nurture ourselves, and honor the sacred in everyday life. In today's episode, we're diving into what it means to heal naturally, reconnect with the feminine, and find belonging through sisterhood. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Well, I'll say welcome to the podcast, first of all. So that's in there because I always seem to forget to do that for the guests because we're just immediately getting into chatting. But welcome. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh yeah. Before we talk about all of the wonderful things we want to talk about, I want to give you the opportunity to just maybe share something that you would describe yourself as. I know you're also getting into your music, so whatever you want to share, share what you need to share. Maybe not just what you do, but also just how you move through the world.
Yeah. It's so funny. I'm in a phase of my life where I feel like I have the least amount of description about who I am and what I'm doing, but I will try my best. I am a multifaceted being, woman, artist who cares deeply about humanity, especially women, humanity, but very much women. Planet Earth, returning to symbiotic relations between Earth and human and human and human. How I do that is through sound, through movement, through play, through connection to nature, through marketing and radical self-expression. Yeah, I'm a musician. I'm a breathwork facilitator. I've been supporting women the last few years and learning how to build personal brands using social media as a creative tool rather than a soul-sucking app that divides us rather than connects us. I'm a world traveler. I'm a writer these days. I'm almost complete with a fantasy novel. Yeah, that's it. Probably not, but that's what I got for now.
I know that can be such an intimidating question because I also have no idea how to fully define myself. I'm changing every day. Right? I'm literally, my interests change, my values somewhat stick, but even sometimes they start to expand. I'm curious because sisterhood was a main topic in the retreat that I was in. And I've always been somebody who has had a difficult time creating connections with women, but I'm recognizing now how much I crave that. After this trip especially, I'm I just want to hang out with women. But I have a lot of male friends. And I'm just curious for you, how has sisterhood evolved in your life?
Such a beautiful question. In so many ways, first and foremost. I definitely got along with men when I was younger, better than women. Yeah, not to get into the full context of my high school experience, but lots of sisterhood wounds, lots of deep pain points and women hating me. And some of them, I don't want to say rightfully so, but some of them, I understood why I wasn't making the best choices to support women. It was very much blame the woman before the man in relationships and all that messiness. And in college, I had a few amazing friends, but overarchingly, it was my friends were guys. And in college, I started to make friends with women. But after my first year of college, all my best friends broke up with me and told me that they didn't want to be friends with me anymore because I was wild. I was just wild and not necessarily the same type of wild that I am now, partying a lot, drinking a lot. But I was very much myself in the context that I could be at that point. Still caged, still masked because I didn't know better, but I didn't want to conform to what my sorority wanted me to do or what my sorority wanted me to say or post or not post. They really wanted to restrict me. And I was no, thank you. And so I had a friendship breakup with all my friends who we mended and ended up becoming the best of friends again. It was all part of the process. But for a long time, I viewed women as competition, fuel for jealousy, or like desiring to have what they had. And then I realized that there was a better way, and that women are each other's greatest ally, and that it's very of the patriarchy and of like society to tear women against one another and to put us into this place of competition. So yeah, it's been a vast journey of returning to sisterhood, but now it's the most important part of my life. Everything I do is for women and for right relations with our bodies and our hearts and each other and the earth. And I think healing the sisterhood wound is like healing the earth wound in so many ways. Like we'll become so much kinder to the earth if we're kinder to other women. And I feel so blessed. I have the most amazing friendships and connected to the most amazing women. I'm working with the most amazing women, and it's like, it's so accessible to all of us.
Yeah, I love that. When you talked about jealousy, I was like, ooh, that hit me. I wasn't really proud of the fact that I had that sense of like jealousy and competition with other women, but now I'm a lot more open with it because I realize it's like a wound that a lot of us have. While I was like kind of looking at like the stories that you share, I also noticed like you said you also dealt with bullying. So like I get that. Like I was bullied a lot when I was young, and it was by only girls, and was like very wary of other girls, and it kept me at like arm's length of trusting a lot of women, well, in high school, in university, and also after university. I feel like every friend that I made that was like a woman just was like, see ya, I don't really want to hang out with you anymore. In the last, I'd say like year or so, been trying to reconnect with like being friends with women and knowing how important that is. And this past retreat was like such a confirmation for me. The way I felt afterwards with women is amazing. Like I just felt way more me and free almost, right? Like we just didn't care. Women swam topless. We're like, who cares? Like, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I had a really beautiful experience at a recent retreat where I unlocked like a new part of my dharma, which is getting women naked, not necessarily physically, but also metaphorically. And in this case, it was physically, and then the physicality like brought forth all the other layers in which it's true beyond our naked bodies. But we started this retreat with women who weren't really comfortable being nude or topless. We had like a pool and a hot tub, and we were like, please be naked if you want. We love to be. And by the end of the retreat, every girl was running around naked, like laughing, like so free, taking pictures. And some of them expressed that it was the first time they had ever felt comfortable being naked around women before. And I was like, that's literally my dharma, getting women naked. But like, you know, shedding the layers that keep us from feeling safe to be who we are, metaphorically, emotionally naked, like strip away the masks, strip away the protection mechanisms, strip away the safety, like let this world see you in your rawest form. And I think the physical body is just like a representation of that, representation of how far away we've come from our natural state of being. But emotionally, energetically, mentally, like we're so far away from that full rawness, or at least most of us are. And it feels like a massive part of my work in this lifetime to help women strip away those layers and remember that like being raw, being naked, completely who they are is their greatest form of medicine, not only to themselves, but to this world, to the humans of planet Earth.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned something like being safe, and I noticed like layers that I've hardened unravel while I was with other women. And actually now as I'm back in reality, I can like feel them hardening back up. And I definitely feel like that is a reaction of like living in such a patriarchal world. Like we just don't feel like we can be soft. And I know you talk about a lot, like what it means to live as a woman more with their moon cycle than like less with the sun. Do you want to like talk a little bit about that? Because I love this conversation with other women.
Yeah, 100%. So for those listening, I'm sure many of you know this, but maybe some of you do not, that women operate on a 28 to 32 day hormonal cycle or menstrual cycle. And male bodies operate on a 24-hour hormonal cycle, which is like a circadian cycle that operates with like how the sun goes, 24 hours. You wake, you sleep. It's the same thing every single day. It starts over again. For women, for bleeding bodies, we have 4 phases of the cycle. So menstruation when we're bleeding, follicular comes after, ovulation is when we can have babies, and then our luteal is like the leading up to bleeding again. Yeah, it operates more with the moon, 28 to 32 days. Our cycles inform everything. How we feel, what we think, what we eat, how we move, our social interactions, our ability to create, our work ethic, everything about us, like hormonally, everything's changing. Everything about us is shifting every 4 to 12 days. And because of that, we can't really operate on a male-centered society. And that's why capitalism and the patriarchy in general have created a society that doesn't actually fit for women. And women have been forced to mold and shapeshift and change and ultimately harm themselves to fit into a society that was not actually created for them. Working 40 hours a week every week is absolutely not supportive for a female body. Going to HIIT workouts every morning is absolutely not for a female body. Fasting, most of the biohacking world, like ice baths consistently, not supportive for female bodies. And, going out and socializing 4 times a week, not really supportive for female bodies. That's not to say we can't be out and social, but it's like finding the ways in which our bodies respond to different dynamics, like tending to our alone time, tending to our vessel, tending to the quietude is just as important as going out and being social. And yeah, just everything is reflected by our menstrual cycle, by our hormonal cycle. And thankfully, so many women are waking up to this fact. And there's a lot of amazing coaches and healers and doctors and practitioners who are teaching women how to operate with their cycle, understanding that we can't even get pregnant more than like 6 days out of the month, getting women on hormonal birth control, which is altering essentially everything about you, including the way you experience pheromones.
Yes.
Smells you like versus don't like in a potential partner. Like it's shifting everything. And yeah, I think this world will heal substantially when women recognize that attuning to their cycle and attuning to their body-based wisdom is the way in which they will operate the most aligned to who they truly are.
It's so true. When you mentioned ice baths, I just saw research about that a few months ago, and it kind of like shocked me because of course, so much of the research out there doesn't even really take into account women because our cycles affect everything so much. They're like, we don't even want them in there. Socializing 100%. When luteal phase hits, I'm like, I'm hermiting. Like, I want to just be with myself. Right? Like I'm not a bubbly person. I've definitely tried like some seed cycling and working out with my cycle, which I'm just curious for you with living with your cycle. What are some of the things that you do that doesn't seem like super out there? Cause I'll get really like real with people when they're like, you should do this in this cycle and this in this cycle. I'm like, I don't know how to do all that.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say the first thing above anything else is that I actually just listen to what my body wants. I'm not rigid. There's definitely a permission of like, if I'm in my luteal or like first few days of my bleed, I'm not going to like force myself to work out if I don't want to. There's an interesting dance between like discipline and like showing up even when you don't want to and listening to your body. And I don't have the exact answer for that. It's a dance you need to experience with yourself. But for me, it's like, don't think about what phase you're in or like what I'm supposed to do or what this creator told me to do. Like, what does my body feel like right now? What am I actually experiencing? What do I actually want to eat? What do I actually want to do with my day? How do I actually want to spend my time? And like, if it's always like, I want sugar, or I'm exhausted, I want to sleep, or I'm too lazy to go on a walk, like that's information. Use it to make a change, like,
right.
I don't think only doing what you're supposed to do in each phase of your cycle as opposed to like listening to what your body wants. And that will inform the cycle as well. On a more practical level, like, yeah, definitely not overexerting my body in luteal and menstrual, and then like giving more energy to workouts and movement in follicular and ovulation has been super supportive. Trying to get as much of my creative work for my business around ovulation time has been super important for me. Batching content, stuff like that, getting into the speaking engagements, these things while I'm in follicular and ovulation, saving the tasks that are more like mundane and back end for luteal and stuff like that. And just like permission. Yeah, it's been permission of like, what emotions am I experiencing? Cause like luteal, I get very like sad sometimes.
Same here.
Yeah. And it's not, sad is good. Sad's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
feel that, you know? But sometimes I'll be like crying and like anxious and weird. And then I'm like, oh, I'm in my luteal phase. Like, thanks for the reminder. Everything's okay.
Yeah, totally. I literally tell myself when I'm like, why am I feeling this way? My whole life's falling apart, and then I'll get my period. And it's like, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, give it 5 days. You'll be fine.
Yeah, literally. I also got off birth control like a year and a half ago. I was never on the pill, but I did IUD. Apparently that's not as extreme when you come off of it.
Yeah, like better.
Yeah, but I still felt like very different afterwards, and kind of dealing with like this withdrawal emotionally after being off birth control. And when you're talking about pheromones, like I told my boyfriend, being like, I feel like I actually can smell you. I couldn't before.
Wow.
Like now I'm like, wow, I actually couldn't. I don't know if that's a placebo thing, but I swear by it. He's like, no, it's not true. Real. Like, you're crazy. I'm like, no, seriously? I feel like I can smell you now.
Yeah. I also had the IUD. It's weird. I can't really remember what was going on at that time. I think I got my IUD out now 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah, like 5 years ago.
Wow.
And I can't really remember the difference, but I know that it was like an immediate, like, whoa, like back to myself. And I had a really weird experience with the gynecologist, like making me feel super uncomfortable and like peer pressuring me to not take it out. And there's like so much stigma around, yeah, like if you learn to track your cycle, it's incredibly effective. Like
100%.
People are fed so much false information about our bodies and what it can and cannot do. And it's just like, yeah, people get on birth control because they're like, it's just easier this way. But like a lot of harmful things are easier than non-harmful things. And it doesn't mean we should do them.
I've been fine. I track my cycle. I did the Aura ring because I felt like it was.
I did too.
Yeah, I felt like that was the safest transition for myself, but it does really feel nice to know that nothing is controlling me other than myself, you know, like nothing is manipulating my hormones and the way I might be feeling. Beforehand, I didn't really feel in control with myself. Maybe you can know this more, but from what I've seen with other women, like we overlook how much our hormones really affect like everything. And how we feel. And an IUD, from what my naturopath and my doctor told me, and I had thankfully a better relationship with my doctor where she's like, if you get pregnant, is this going to be okay? I'm like, I'll figure it out. Like, yeah, you know? And she didn't pressure me or guilt me or anything, but they said like eventually when the 5-year mark, mine was 5 year, reaches, like it does, like the hormones tend to go away.
Yeah.
So it's natural to feel a little bit weird after, you know?
Yeah, your hormones literally control everything. Everything. Yeah. So it's an adjustment period, but to me, it's such a worthwhile one.
Yeah. From when you've had like these retreats and been with a lot of women, what do you think women are mainly disconnected from?
Feeling in general. And women are doing a lot better than men in this area, which makes sense because society's put like extra pressures on men to not be sensitive. But I literally think feeling. Like when I ask you what you feel in your body, or I ask someone and like they immediately go into a cerebral response of like what they're thinking about or what happened or their past. And it's like, what does it feel like in your chest right now? Not like, oh, I have anxiety because I'm like overwhelmed about this, this, and this. And like, just tell me what it feels like. And people don't really know how to get there. A lot of people are really confused or like they don't understand what that means. So I think literally just like without story, without past, without judgment, like what does it feel like to inhabit this body right now? If I can work with the feeling, I can work with moving through it and transmuting it. If I'm attaching a story, it goes to all these deeper levels that makes your body actually like cling on to it. And so I think we can also talk about the womb, like obviously connection to the womb is such a big one, but connection to feeling, to just feeling without attaching a story to it, I think is one of the biggest things. Yeah.
Actually, on the retreat, we did a lot of like breathwork meditation, and I had not only feelings of like random competition feeling, but I couldn't really put it into words, but also shame And I expressed it to the woman being like, I'm feeling a lot of shame, but it doesn't feel like mine. I don't know if it's like all women coming together and just like being able to like soften and like recognize that that's something so many of us may have. But when it comes to feeling in general, because we are so like intuitive, how can you sometimes like separate your own feelings to maybe the collective?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think sometimes it's quite hard. Like, we're always carrying on behalf of our lineage and on behalf of the collective. And I think it's just like learning to separate, like experiencing it and like attaching story to it, because we're going to be feeling on behalf of ourselves and the collective all the time, constantly somatic experiencing, constantly, you know, like the rush in the chest or the constriction in the throat or in the temples or in our belly, and also beautiful like butterflies in our stomach and like deep expanding love. And I don't think that's something we should try to like strive from or run away from or like contain. It's like, what a gift to feel. I think it's more containing, like, what am I associating this with? Like, am I creating a story around this? Am I creating a pattern or a habit around this? Or can I just be with what's here in the sensation and then practice releasing it? Yeah, I would say like, it's not as much something I've done of like, is this mine? Is this someone else's? Like, really practicing that like energetic like separation of it. Although some people are really into that. For me, it's just like, I'm here. What comes. Can I like move it as quickly as possible? And not necessarily as quickly as possible, but as like effectively as possible. Because then it doesn't matter if it was mine or someone else's. Like, it's not staying in my body because I actually know how to process it and transmute it.
Right. What are some tips when you are trying to process something maybe heavy?
On a non-somatic level, morning pages has changed my entire life. Julia and The Artist's Way. If you haven't read it, please do it. It's like a 12-step recovery book for creative exploration. It's basically just 3 pages of stream of consciousness dumping in the morning when you wake up. Absolutely changed my life. Like, you do not realize how much clutter you have in your mind until you put it on a page. And it's why I wrote my book. It's why I wrote my poetry book. Like, I came up with a whole new business endeavor because of it. It just like, it made so much space in my life to process, and it made the somatic part so much easier. So I highly recommend that. Sacred rage, screaming, taking a stick and smacking it against the floor, punching your pillows, like whatever you need to do. Rage is massive for women. Even if you don't feel angry, you have anger in you, 100%.
Oh, I got anger.
Yeah, like, doesn't matter if you're the happiest person in the world, you got rage in you, especially if you're a woman. Collectively, lineage, lifetimes, like, we are holding that. And somatic shaking, dance, singing, breath are all really powerful tools that I would say. Shaking is a big one.
Yeah. For people that don't know about somatic shaking, how does that benefit them to release?
Yeah, so it basically is like mimicking the completion of a stress cycle in your body. So if you were to watch a deer being chased by a bear in the woods and the deer escapes the bear, doesn't get killed, survives, you'll see that it shakes for like a minute. It'll just like shake its entire body out and then it goes on. So like, that's its body's natural response from going from like a sympathetic to parasympathetic state, from a stress response into rest and repair. And so, we're in stress cycles all the time that typically don't find completion. It's why people are so chronically stressed. If you complete, like, stress is normal. Stress is how we survive. But when the threat is over, you're supposed to be able to just like come back to a balanced state. Most people don't know how to do that. And so the stress cycle is perpetuated. And that's when so many illnesses come to fruition from being in chronic stress. So completing the stress cycle is the way to return the body back to the parasympathetic state. Somatic shaking, just literally planting your feet in the earth and shaking your body out, is one of the best tools I know for completing those stress cycles.
Wow. I knew about somatic healing in general, but I hadn't really looked into all of the reasons for why it works and the benefits in the body, other than I know that, you know, like a umbrella, that we do hold emotions in our body and it's good to physically get rid of it through movement. But I didn't know about how animals will like shake. That actually unlocked a memory. I think I read it in, I don't know, maybe the book A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, how like ducks will do it too when they like freak out and they'll like shake and fly away.
Almost all animals do it.
Yeah. Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. And also, I know you talk about how important it is to connect with the earth. Why is that so important for women?
Yeah, well, we are nature. We're not separate. Men too. We're all nature. We've collectively separated ourselves from nature in many ways, and it's a flawed system. Like, we're not separate. We're part of the animal kingdom. We are just as much a part of this earth as a tree, as a rock, as a lion, as any of it. We just have higher levels of consciousness and awareness and frontal lobe. That's our natural state. Like, being in a house, being on a screen, like, that is abnormal. That is not natural. That is man-made. So returning to the earth, returning to your natural state is like where your body finds homeostasis, silence, quiet. Like, yeah, it's just where you return to naturalness. Laying on the forest floor is like one of my favorite pastimes, laying in rivers. Yeah, it just regulates the nervous system. It's like distraction free and quiet and super understimulating, like super just like balanced and calm. And obviously nature can be quite intense, but finding those pockets of stillness, just returning home to self, like coming back to your body, coming back to earth. To me, that's one and the same.
Yeah, I wish I was on the computer less. A goal of mine is to eventually stop being on the computer so much and still somehow support myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm just seeing, you know, like nowadays, kids are like learning on computers and tablets where it used to be paper. And I know that you have your own business and you share all of your content online. So how do you find this like balance as much as you can, being out in nature, making sure that that's still there for yourself, while also showing up for your business and having to be at a computer sometimes?
Yeah.
You know?
To me, it's just like priority. Like, I don't have like a specific set of like tools that I use. It's just like, I love my work. It's so amazing. And like a lot of what I'm doing is because like we need to, you know, if I could just like bird call women to come like sit with me in the forest, like that was how I made my living, like I'd be doing it. And
Right.
like, I need to create content and I need to like update my website and like host the things online. And that's not my highest excitement, but it's also the tool to connect. So that's why I'm teaching it. Like, that's my highest excitement, is the connection that comes from using social media as a tool, for example. No one's going to come to my retreat if they don't know about it. Social media is how they know about it. The retreats feel like the ultimate dharma. Writing music is the ultimate dharma. No one's going to hear the music if I don't share about it. So it's like a means to an end to like be in the highest active service. But my priority is like being naked at a body of water. Like, that is my, you know, let me do that for the rest of my life. So for me, it's more like needing to have the discipline to like get on the computer.
Right.
And I have that because I want to be wealthy and make an impact on this planet and support as many people as I can. And I got to do what I got to do. But the default state is like, let me go be in nature. And then like, okay, I'll go on my computer, which is like a different thing from my phone. I'm on my phone a lot. It's just because it's like, I can go be in nature and have it. And like, it's so accessible. So I actually need better boundaries with my phone. But like, to get on my computer.
Don't we all? Ugh, the phone. I tend to unsubscribe from like the rigid morning and evening rituals. I have like some things that I like to do. Like, I've recently, after the retreat, I've like have a new love for yoga again, but I've always tried to like meditate. You might have just inspired me to start doing my morning pages because I've been putting that off.
So good.
But I'm curious, do you have like these rituals to maybe keep yourself like centered in some ways, or do you just go by how you feel?
Such a journey. In my ideal reality, I'm doing something for my creativity, something for my body, something for my mind, something for my spirit, and like a moment in nature. So like, in a perfect world, morning pages, yoga, breath, meditation, some form of prayer or gratitude, and like to spend 30 minutes by a river. Like, that's my perfect morning before I have like a breakfast with a beverage. Right now, I'm doing absolutely none of that. My summer's been so chaotic. I'm traveling. I'm going to Japan on Friday, and then France and Portugal and New York.
Jeez, I've only heard amazing things about Japan.
I'm so
recently.
excited.
Like, so many people have been like, Japan, Japan, Japan. My boyfriend went to Japan. I'm so excited for you.
Thanks. I'm going with my family. It's going to be very sweet. We have like 8-hour day itineraries. That's how my mom likes to travel, and it'll be amazing. Feels like a good place to have like structure. But the point is that I've already been on like 15 planes this summer, and I'm pretty sure I have 15 more, which is like so unsustainable of me, and such is life. And it's like super chaotic, and it's super magical. and it's full spectrum. And I do my things sometimes. Like I've been going to the gym with my dad most mornings and going for walks and writing a lot of songs and writing poetry and working on my book, but absolutely no routine right now. It's not my favorite way to live. And
yeah,
it is what it is. I'm going to be in Panama in the fall for like a year, like settling again for a minute. And I'm like itching for the routine that's going to come with that phase of life. And it ebbs and flows. And I like highly recommend having some routine, even if it's just 30 minutes before you go on your phone to do something for yourself. Yeah. I would love to practice what I preach a little bit more in that front. And like, I'm also very much a person who speaks on like surrender to what's here and just like fucking wing it sometimes. Like,
yeah, no, I was going to say, because when I went for the retreat, my entire sense of routine was gone. And I really leaned into being like, okay, I just need to be okay with no routine. Yeah. And recognizing other women have a hard time with that. Like I could see how I was that 5 years ago, where I would literally freak out and think that my life is not worth anything unless I had my set morning routine. I would have these done like at my calendar. My calendar was like blocks of sections of what I needed to work on. And then I'd have my evening routine and then repeat. And that was too much for me. And I totally get what you mean where summer's busy, but then I also feel it for myself. Maybe there's like good thing in that for us to like not overly attach to that routine so that we feel so like set here.
Yeah. We're constantly changing. It's womanhood.
Yeah. Well, before we close off, there's two other things that I want to ask you. One of them, the fear of being seen. I was told by my sisters mentioned that. Another girl that I really strongly connected with, she got emotional talking about how that's like her core wound. And I wonder if you can maybe share like what this conversation has been with other women and how you potentially help them overcome that. I know for sure I'm going to send this to my friend who struggles with it deeply.
Yeah. I think ultimately at the core of being human, I mean, fear of death is like the core. And one step above fear of death is rejection and abandonment. Because if you were rejected or abandoned from your tribe, our ancestors kicked you out of their group, you would die. We like still carry that in our DNA, I feel. And so ultimately the fear of being seen is the fear of that. If I show you who I truly am, you will leave. And what a gift. You're not going to die if someone leaves you. Like we're not living in that time. So it still feels somatically like really fucking scary. And that's totally valid. But ultimately, if you show someone who you truly are at your core and they leave you, that's a gift. Spaciousness for someone who's more aligned to enter your life, because your people are out there. There are people in this world who are going to love you, adore you, cherish you, honor you, respect you, admire you for being exactly who you are without masks, without fear, without layers of protection. And those people can't find you if you're in hiding because you're afraid of what someone might think of you if you show them who you are. So overcoming the fear of being seen is saying, I trust myself enough that I can allow people to leave when I show them who I truly am, because I don't need them to survive. I need myself to survive. And this world and me and everyone around me are going to lose out on such immense magic if I hide who I am. And perceptions of me are none of my business. Everyone is way too busy focusing on themselves to care about you in that way. And if they do care about you in a judgmental way, it means they don't like themselves, because everything's just a mirror. So the whole point is just be who the fuck you are. Stop letting the center of your attention be who's going to run away or leave you or hide from you or reject you or break up with you if you show them who you are, because you're actually ultimately making space for people who are going to respect and love you. Like, yeah, even more for being super true to yourself.
Wow. I just got like chills, because I love how so much of this connects with how way back in the day our ancestors, if they didn't do what they liked, they were rejected, and how that can still stay in us with the fear of being seen. Because when I was having a conversation with my sister and my friend, I was like, I recognize that like you're afraid to be seen, but at the same time you're so seeking that external validation.
Yeah.
So it's like really letting go of that like fear to be validated. I'm sure you've also been asked this question, like, how do you put yourself out there? How do you share what you're sharing? how do you maybe make music and want to share your music? Maybe if you want to share your information there. For me, I was like, I've had like a hard awakening where young people in my life passed before I felt like it was their time. I'm like, I'm not going to waste, I'm like, maybe my time's tomorrow. So I don't want to stress about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. To me, it's like, what would you do if no one was looking? Do that. Forget that anyone's looking. It's not that deep. We're all going to die.
We're all going to die. All of us.
100 years, no one's going to have any clue what you were up to.
I know.
Act like it.
I have to think of myself not as just one person, but like I'm in the group of many, many people, many things on this, many
tiny little
beings on this planet. So they're not going to see it.
Yeah. No, like we are literally nothing, and that gives us permission to be everything and like choose what matters. Nothing matters until you give it meaning. Stop giving meaning to fucking stupid things. Like who's going to judge you for being yourself? Focus on the fact that you get to exist, like the fact that you're alive. And that you should do with this time what brings you the most joy.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think that's what I have to remind myself too. Is like, I need to make sure I'm like honoring myself as a human self to have the best experience it can have with whatever is around me. It can be like really, really simple things like going out and laying in grass. Yeah. My human self wants that.
Yeah. And like
my spirit self wants that.
All of you wants that. If you are alive and living in like a non-war zone where you have the ability to be free, like please stop creating your own suffering. Not to invalidate all the shit we've been through. Like we all have trauma for sure, but like you have autonomy over how you experience life. If you live in a place where you have that, like you have a responsibility to act on it.
Yeah. There's so many things I'm going to be taking away from this in general. With how it's so important to like feel our emotions, the somatic healing. I felt like this came at the right time for me because of coming back from this retreat. I felt like I was just thrown into completely neglecting all those lessons and just like work, make the money. Don't continue that. But I love having these conversations with other women that are like, fuck that. We don't need that, you know? But as a final question, because the theme of this season is called She Breaks Barriers. Do you think that, or maybe you can share maybe one thing that you could be breaking in your life, like a barrier you might be breaking, whether it's like physically or like mentally, is something coming up? Yeah. Okay.
I am obsessed with love, romantic love, friendship love, like all of the loves. I wear my heart like very proudly on my sleeve. I love completely. I fall in love so easily. Like I love love. And the barrier I'm trying to break is around attaching to love and like having conditions around love. So I want to be able to fall in love in a moment and like be in my center of like, this doesn't need to last forever. This is a pocket of time, and not need to hold myself back out of this fear of like, are they going to love me next week? Are they going to love me next year? Like, and that's romantically or with friends or with moments or experiences. Like, to be in true unconditional love is to not need an outcome for its existence. And so the barrier I'm trying to break is to be in as much love with all of existence as I possibly can without attaching to its outcome. Which is hard. And I'm trying.
Yeah. I was like, Emma, you're so poetic. No wonder you've written a book or you're working on book. Like, wow. I want to like say one thing. I'm like, that was so amazing. And then the next thing you say is so amazing. I'm like, I can't. It's just incredible. That is so important. Like, to not be overly attached. And I know for so many like women specifically in my life, they're like, I need to feel loved. I need to like constantly feel loved. And there's this one girl that I remember from my university experience. I was like so proud of her to have the courage to have her heart on her sleeve at all times. Like she went through so many breakups, but then still in like the next few weeks where it was able to like bounce back and like go on a date or put her heart out there. I definitely was not that kind of girl. Like I would be heartbroken and feel like something's wrong with me, but it's so important
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for you to be on this. This is amazing.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so sweet.
Do you want to share where people can find you or what else? I know that you also have your business, so maybe you want to share a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Emma Marschall, my Instagram, you can find everything there. I do a lot of one-on-one work supporting women in building soul-led brands, expanding their wealth, their mission, their impact, their opportunity through social media. My main project right now is a co-creation with my best friend Harmony. We've actually just decided today that we're going to be investing in building an app. We're going all in. We're doing the thing called the Muse Collective. You can find it from my Instagram. It's a membership, $88 a month for females who want to tap into their creativity, tap into their artistry, learn how to muse life, learn how to step into their inner artist. And there's going to be many things that blossom from that, including a retreat next summer in southern Italy, which we just booked in. Yeah, just like women in the Mediterranean Sea, breath, movement, dance, song, meditation, play, sacred sisterhood, all the things. So that'll be epic. We already had one woman reserve her spot for a year from now. So that feels beautiful. And I teach breath work and all the other magical things you'll find on my Instagram. So you can check me out there.
Thank you so much. That's so exciting. I'm going to put all that information in the description for anyone that wants to check it out. But Emma, thank you so much for coming on. This was so amazing. And I'm just happy that we were able to connect.
Me too. Thank you so much.
I hope this episode with Emma left you feeling a little bit more grounded, more connected, and reminded that healing doesn't have to be so complicated. Sometimes it's just about coming home to yourself and the woman who holds you. If you loved this conversation, make sure to subscribe to the 20s Detox, leave a review, and share it with a friend who would love this message too. And if you want a little bit of extra inspiration or just a super cute newsletter to help you elevate your 20s, you can sign up for free in the description below. Thank you so much for tuning into this week. Have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you next time. Bye.